Hello YouTube! Tamriel is full of items, and some of those items in the lore are highly illegal on parts or on even all of Tamriel. And I felt like it would be interesting to take a look at the illegal items of Tamriel in the lore, because some of these items we've all owned at some point doing a playthrough, while others, well, let's just be glad that you never owned them. So, let's take a look. So first let's get some of the most obvious stuff out of the way. Most of the drugs and psychedelic ingredients needed to make them are illegal on Tamriel. The best example specifically of this is skooma, of course, and its key ingredient moon sugar. These are illegal on most of the continent, and it's generally the drug that most of the dealers on Tamriel trade in. Now, there's a few other drugs, some legal, some illegal, and I already made a video covering most of the drugs on Tamriel, so I recommend watching that video if you want to know more about the drugs of Tamriel, as there's far more detail there. That being said, there are some more obvious examples of things that are illegal, both Tamriel-wide and regionally. For example, during the 4th era in the Altmerry Dominion and after the Great War in the Empire, amulets of Talos and other Talos worshipping items are illegal. Some books which go against government ideals are illegal, like in the 3rd era. The Real Berenzia book was illegal for a bit in the Septim Empire. And a book series like Rising Threat is illegal in the Altmerry Dominion. I mean, the author got assassinated by the Thalmor shortly after, so we can put that one on the definitely illegal category. But yeah, with the most obvious stuff out of the way, it seems that most Daedric items are actually considered illegal in most of Tamriel, with different gradations. For example, Daedric armor and weapons seem to be slightly frowned upon, but not really illegal, or at least the illegality is not enforced. Which is pretty logical. I mean, a guy wearing Daedric armor and weapons is probably not someone you'd be able to enforce a law upon as a town guard. But there are some highly illegal Daedric items. For example, most items related to the Mythic Dawn, Maroon's Dagon worshippers, are illegal, but really everything related to most Daedric princes seem to be illegal, as Daedric artifacts in general seem to be either frowned upon or illegal. Even though, again, that's not really enforced in the games, because there are some of the best weapons from a gameplay perspective in the Daedric weapon category. So I suppose the developers didn't really want, if you carry the Daedric weapon, for guards to attack you everywhere. But we do have one concrete example of a Daedric item ban being really strictly enforced. Specifically the Daedric Crescent weapon, which were weapons carried by the Daedric servants of Maroon's Dagon when they invaded the Imperial Battle Spire. Now, a video on the Battle Spire is in the description if you don't know what the Battle Spire is, by the way. These very powerful Daedric weapons were almost all destroyed by the Empire as they retook the Battle Spire, and they made an active effort to track them all down, with only a very few Daedric Crescents surviving this process. For example, in Morrowind it said that the only Daedric Crescent left on all of Tamriel is the one that the Nerevarine obtained by defeating a Dermora Lord with the help of the Fear, but it said that none others are left at this point on Tamriel. Now, some other illegal objects on most of Tamriel are objects and books pertaining to magic types which are labeled black magic and generally necromancy. For example, most necromancy spellbooks seem to be illegal or at least frowned upon on large parts of Tamriel. Although the status of necromancy has fluctuated over the years, they are pretty readily available because of that, and they are even legal in some parts of Tamriel, especially in the Empire where it's not strictly illegal. But then the Mages Guild banned it. Its status is a bit vague, but there are some suggestions that at least the spell books were illegal in the Empire at some point. However, one thing which is definitely illegal pertaining to magic are black soul gems, as they are able to trap the souls of intelligent beings, which is illegal. And as such, black soul gems are illegal in most places around Tamriel. Both filled and empty, they seem to be illegal. And we can even see this in the games, as generally black soul gems are only sold by less morally inclined sellers, let's just call them like that. But not just the trade in intelligent beings' souls are illegal, it's also illegal to trade the skins, furs, scales and hides of intelligent beings. The book Confessions of a Khajiit Fur Trader shows us how there's a big black market for Khajiit furs, which is highly illegal but are very much wanted around Tamriel, with the same going for Argonian scale skins apparently. And not just the skins and hides, just body parts in general are illegal to trade around Tamriel, at least of those of the intelligent creatures. And don't tell me, but Zork, there probably isn't a market for that on Tamriel. Who wants body parts? But yeah, there is. Apparently Khajiit tails and ears are both very wanted across human provinces of the Empire. I don't know why. Maybe people think they bring luck. Maybe they are used for Khajiit fursuits. Maybe they are Tamrielic furries.
Stop! You violated the law!
Okay, sorry. That being said, something else which is illegal in most of Tamriel, except Morrowind, is the sale of intelligent and sentient creatures, so slave trade. I made a short video on slavery on Tamriel in the past, which I recommend you watch if you want to know more about the practice in general on Tamriel and its history, but know that there are pretty strict limits across Tamriel on slavery. But that being said, selling non-sentient animals is allowed, so like cows, pigs, chickens. The sales of pets is also allowed, so dogs and the like. But the question on Tamriel is, where is the line, as Altmer have been known to enslave goblins, so where this line is, it's a bit vague. But it seems that if a race has an established, accepted country on Tamriel, then trading is generally illegal. But goblins, you go man. Now, finally there are a few things which are illegal, but in a bit of a weird way, because for example during the Septim Empire, the Empire had a monopoly on the importing of ebony. So while it wasn't illegal to own ebony or to trade it after buying it from the Imperial Trading Company, producing or importing it yourself was a big no-no. The Empire also claimed monopolies on Dwemer artifacts and Elder Scrolls for a bit, as both of those items they wanted to keep out of the hands of people who had bad intentions, and at the same time they wanted to have exclusive rights to experiment, research and potentially exploit, meaning that, you know, during certain periods those items were illegal to own for regular citizens of the Empire, although it was possible to have them with special Imperial permission. That being said, that's basically all the illegal items I could find which are illegal around most of Tamriel. Of course there are some local bans, for example in High Rock some kingdoms it's illegal to own stuff produced in other kingdoms and the like, but the items I talked about in this video are the most prevalent across Tamriel. Anyway, I do sincerely hope that you liked this video and that you learned something new about the world of the Elder Scrolls today, and if you did, maybe consider leaving a like, as that's how the YouTube algorithm decides which content is worthy, and maybe consider returning for the next Elder Scrolls lore video next week, or watch some of my older lore videos. I made quite a bit. That being said, all I now have left to do is vocally thank my top Patreon supporters, Mr. Bernardo Binda, Gabriel Binda, Polarized Putin, Dragonborn of Nerovar, Athena Hyodis, Volkure of Argonia, King Chris, Scribe of the Scrolls, Doji, Fenrir, Sword of Bushido, Rakai, and Mr. Christmas. It's thanks to these people and all the others on screen that this channel stays alive, and for that I'm very grateful. That said, I hope to see all of you in the next Elder Scrolls lore video. Bye bye.